Thank you for your ballot, good citizen. I'll just run that through our vote counting software. Scan your marks, change this T to a B, dot the I, and it's gone.
What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. The monsters are real. Okay, it's Halloween in my neighborhood. People have up some spooky decorations, and I walk my little kids by their houses and I explain when they get scared that these aren't real. Okay, they're pretend, they're make believe, they're plastic actually from China. Okay, and Home Depot. These aren't real monsters. Okay, and I explain that to my little kids, and they go about their merry little way. But there are some monsters who are actually real. There's some things that aren't just decorations. There's some evils that actually must be rooted out of society. And voter fraud is one of those evils. Now, we have been, I think, braver than most on this topic. And there was this anathema. You weren't allowed to talk about voter fraud for a very, very long time on social media. And I think we've pushed the upper boundaries of that in covering story after story after story after story of voter fraud. And of course, you can find thousands of cases of voter fraud and convictions, voter frauds ending in criminal convictions in massive databases like this one. Not only is voter fraud regular and normal in American elections, it ends in a bunch of people going to prison. This is just how it works, okay? Yeah, and it shouldn't work that way. Dumb people, evil people do evil things. Many have different motivations. But the motivation is ultimately to stop something like this from happening if you are a Kamala Harris supporter. So expect shenanigans. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is the Real Clear Politics most likely outcome on Election Day. Listen, dude, no level of voter fraud that I've ever seen would be able to stop this, would be able to prevent this. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. And it doesn't mean that this shouldn't be something that we should be deadly serious about, okay? This is a monster, and it is real. Part of the PSYOP is having you believe that there's no such thing as voter fraud. Man, we have covered every single story that comes across our wire of voter fraud that we can to make sure that we hammer home, yes, there is literal voter fraud happening all the time in America, and it needs to be dealt with, and people need to be severely punished for it. This needs to be a crime that we don't allow, along with a lot of other crimes. Here we go. Now, for the first really big story about voter fraud in the lead up to the election, from a swing state in Pennsylvania, of course, in a very important county in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania County finds 2,500 suspected fraudulent voter registrations as state election officials investigate. Oh, no. Oh, no. If they found 2,500, what does that mean there actually are? 250,000? Let's have a read. A criminal investigation has been launched after thousands of suspected fraudulent voter registrations were discovered in a swing state of Pennsylvania. The Lancaster County Board of Elections announced Friday that staff members identified 2,500 suspected fraudulent voter registration applications which had been dropped off at the election office. Oh, so you just dropped off 2,500 applications. Some had false names, suspicious handwriting, questionable signatures, incorrect addresses, and other problematic details. 2 other Pennsylvania counties received similar applications, were notified to check them, Lancaster County District Attorney Heather Adams said in a news conference. She declined to name the other counties. Oh, I wonder if these are counties that are very excited to get illegal voter registrations. This appears to be an organized effort at this point, said Adams, an elected Republican. But of course, it's an ongoing investigation. We're looking into exactly who participated and how far up it goes. At the news conference, Lancaster Commissioner Ray D'Ignacio, a Republican who chairs the election board, said the fact of the matter is we've contained this. It's not right. It's illegal. It's immoral. We found it and we're going to take care of it. Well, this should end in criminal prosecutions. I mean, the only way to really stop these things is start putting people in jail. That'll definitely happen in the next Trump administration. President Trump has promised jail for everybody who commits election fraud. Most of the applications were dated since August 15th. A majority of them were from Lancaster City. Adams said in some cases, applications contained correct personal information, such as a correct address or phone number, date of birth, driver's license number, and social security number. But the individuals listed on the applications informed detectives that they did not request the form. They did not complete the form and verify the signature. The form was not theirs. That's crazy. Pennsylvania's 19 electoral college votes are critical for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris to win the White House. The Keystone State was one of the hubs of unfounded voter registration allegations in 2020. Okay, hold on. So you're saying that people's names and identifications and addresses and social security numbers are all correct, but you contact those people and they say they never requested a voter registration. They didn't fill out the form. So who the hell did fill out the form? Who would have all their social security numbers? This is insane election fraud. This is crazy levels of election rigging. Like this isn't one, dumb lady like taking her grandmother's mail-in ballot, right, and like filling it out for her. This is a sophisticated operation. So they're filling these out. The individuals said they did not request the form, they didn't complete the form, and they didn't verify the signature. It wasn't their signature. It's like, not my signature. So that's the one thing they couldn't fake was the signature. But signature, you can just scribble, you right? How often is this happening? Also, how do you have access to all their social security numbers? Is this happening on a state level? Is this some type of like government operation? Who has access to social security number? Listen, pretty smart guy. We have a lot of technical capacity at this company. I don't know how to steal anyone's social security. I don't want to know. But how would you even do that? How would you go about doing that? You got to have access to like the driver's license databases, all this stuff. This seems like a state operation. This is a coordinated, sophisticated vote election stealing operation. It took days to finish counting the ballots to declare Joe Biden the winner of the race in 2020, because of shenanigans like this. Pennsylvania will not begin counting absentee ballots until after Election Day itself, which could delay the results of the election there as well. Polls in the state will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. local time. The state is considered a true toss-up for both candidates. The applications and questions were dropped off in 2 batches, according to county election officials. Concerns were raised during staff normal process of reviewing applications of the system. Officials reiterate that the systems in place worked. Lancaster voters remain confident in their county's election. 1.2 million people have already voted in Pennsylvania. So hold on. So you register somebody to vote. They didn't want to register to vote. That ballot gets sent out. Then what happens? Somebody intercept the ballot? Vote for them? Shove it in a drop box? What happens next? We've seen this happen, of course, across the country. We've seen this happen in New Jersey, in Connecticut. We've seen this happen up like in Democrat states, in Massachusetts, where people are like, that's not my vote. That's not my ballot. Somebody fraudulently did that. In Arizona. So like these are federal charges. There are federal charges that are dropping for voter fraud. In Ohio, dozens of people were just charged with voter fraud. You got to keep a harsh eye on this stuff. Donald Trump saying, cease and desist. I, together with many legal and attorney scholars, are watching the sanctity of the election very closely because I know better than most the rampant cheating and skullduggery that's taken place in the Democrat Party. It was a disgrace to our nation. Therefore, in 2024, where votes are just starting to be cast under the consent and professional scrutiny, when I win, those people that cheated will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. This will include long-term prison sentences so that the depravity of the justice will not be done again. We cannot let our country further dissolve into a third world nation, and we won't. Please be aware that this legal exposure extends to lawyers, political operatives, donors, illegal voters, corrupt election officials. Those involved in unscrupulous behavior will be sought out, caught, prosecuted at every level as never before seen in our country. You need to send this. You need to send that once a day. People must be jailed for this. Who's doing this? Bro, if you have somebody's social security number and address, driver's license number, all this information that's like personal information that you need to register to vote, and those voters say, I didn't give anyone that, I didn't authorize that, that means someone from the inside is registering voters to potentially hoover up illegal ballots. I mean, what other explanation is there? How do you get someone's social security number? That's the only explanation. Major voter fraud scheme in Pennsylvania. It is not a hoax. Here's the actual media alert and what actually happened. The Board of Election staff members identified and contained incidences of voter registration fraud. Election staff and district attorneys are currently assessing the nature and volume of the fraud. Thus far, the investigation we have completed, we have determined that 60% of these votes, of these voter registrations, have been fraudulent. The majority of the applications were from residents in the city of Lancaster, and they included also other residential areas. The canvases themselves took place in various shopping centers, parking lots, grocery stores, and businesses, sidewalks, and parks. During the preliminary investigation, detectives were able to verify some of the applications were indeed legitimate. In these instances, the applications verified and did not require any more assistance. We will immediately advise voter registration and will confirm the legitimate requests. There we go again. Trump was literally just in Lancaster. The investigation is underway, but officials have confirmed that 60% of the ballots in the question have been checked to have been fraudulent. These people need to go to jail. That's right. Major voter fraud uncovered. This is breaking all over. This should be the #1 story in the country. All involved must be arrested and face the stiffest possible penalties under the law. Corey Lewandowski of the Trump campaign is stating that we need to be vigilant and that, hopefully, that everyone just goes to prison. Scott Presler, who has been doing God's work in the all-important Pennsylvania, he's been registering voters in Pennsylvania like crazy over the last year. If Trump wins Pennsylvania, I think it will be because of Scott Presler more than any one single man. Spoke with election officials in Bucks County today. Video being shared about ballots being ripped is phony and fake. FBI is investigating. The FBI investigating confirmed it's a propaganda to make Republicans distrust mail-in ballots. Okay, so there's video of mail-in ballots being torn up. Okay, so that was a fake. Well, there you go. Little fact check there. Here's another fact check. Election fraud happens. It happens all the time, and that you need to keep your head on a swivel. And you must always push your state legislatures to pass harsher, stricter penalties for election fraud and protections against the actual election itself. I'm really happy with the system they have here in Florida. I'm going to go early vote later today. And then I'm going to be able to track my ballot and see that my vote counted. And then that's how Florida is able to give you a result at 9 p.m. on election night. Boom, like that. No funny business, no shenanigans. Change the way we do elections in this country, you'll change the country forever. Right now, we live in a third world banana republic. And I'm allergic to bananas. Catch your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Trump, mustard. See ya.